Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Welcome in! Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Wednesday. About half the work week in the rearview mirror. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Fired up you are here with us. Lane Kiffin met with media yesterday. We'll talk about a little bit of that, specifically one aspect of LSU's defense that I haven't given a lot of thought to, but it was interesting that he spoke about it yesterday. I thought it was a good question. What if Wednesday coming 30 minutes from right now? Dr. Jeremy Burnham will be with us at the bottom of the hour. Of course, the Achilles, the injury of the day here with LSU football. We'll talk about a few other things with Dr. Burnham to close things out. Koki Riley was at the box last night. He was in Oxford over the weekend. We'll talk to him about all that at 2 o'clock. Got some Saints discussion in the second hour. And of course, our SEC baseball power rankings as well. So let's lock it in. Crank it up like we do every day.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
You know, beggars can't be choosers, people. They really can't. Beggars cannot be choosers. When you've lost 4 games in a row, you are begging for one. And when you trail twice in the early innings, you are begging for one. And when you allow the other team to put the tying run in scoring position late in the ball game, you are begging for one. So I don't get to choose which one I get. I just get this one, okay? LSU beats Northwestern State 4-2. Was it brilliant? No. Did they win? Yes. Were there some good things? Of course. Were there some concerns? Yeah, that too. So let's just kind of get into my thoughts about this game. I told you yesterday, look, I'm tired of getting behind. I'm tired of walking guys early. I would probably throw one of the older strike throwers at Northwestern State. I gave you a couple of names that were a little bit off the wall. Dax Dothy would not have been the most conventional choice to start the ball game yesterday. I understand that. But I felt like he would throw it over the plate, and I felt like he would give you a chance to throw a couple zeros up. I thought the same thing potentially about Connor Bench. I gave his name as well. He hadn't walked anybody all year. Maybe throw him out there. He's old. He might be able to get some outs. Jay Johnson took my little theory, my little silly working theory of, hey, let's get an older guy that might throw some balls over the plate instead of throwing Ricken or Paz or one. Well, he went with Zach Cowan. And so obviously, looking at that decision, he was going, I'm sick of being behind 3-0 every Tuesday, being behind 4-1 every Tuesday, being behind 2-0 every Tuesday. It's every Tuesday with this team. And Jay Johnson said, we're not doing that. We're going with our guy. Cowan went out there in the first inning, got him up and down. Had a guy get on base, but no issues. Beautiful. Came out in the second. Well, gave up a single. Hard line drive, but right at the third baseman, double play. So you got 2 outs. Love it. And then you give up a home run to a guy with no career home runs. It's just, they cannot get 6 outs without giving up a run or giving up a couple runs or giving up 3 runs or kicking it around or issuing a walk. This guy, Ray, has no power. His slugging percentage is in the 200s, which is almost impossible. I started looking up former Cubs pitchers that were terrible hitters, trying to find slugging percentages that low, and I found a couple. John Lester, Bartolo Colon's was lower than that. But famously bad hitting pitchers in Major League Baseball that have slugging percentages that low. Rays is that kind, but he got one up and drove it out of the ballpark. So you're trailing 1-0 after 2. But Grant Fontenot did a great job coming in after Cowan. He gets through 2 innings unscathed. And all fun, fair, and what is that saying? All fair, turnabout, and fair play. Something like that. If somebody does something, you can do it too. Northwestern hit a home run from a guy who never hits home runs. Braden Simpson did not have a home run this year. He drove one out of the ballpark as well. Now, he hit 20 last year, but he hadn't had one this year, and he knocked it out of the yard. So you're tied after 4 innings. And you go to the 5th, and Northwestern puts a little pressure on you. Reagan Ricken comes in. He gives up a single. Then he does what LSU's done all year, and he throws a pickoff throw away. Then there's a catcher's interference. Just a lot of charity there. They put a sack bunt down. They ground to shortstop, and now Northwestern's got another lead. They're second in the game. It's the fifth inning, and LSU's offense really hasn't done anything. I got cranky in the fifth inning when LSU came to bat because Simpson pops up, and they drop it. Just a cold drop on a pop-up. Stanfield flies out, but Curiel hits a missile through the right side, and that sends Simpson to third base. Now, you are trailing by one. It's the middle innings. You've got a senior on third and a guy that's about to be a first-round pick on first. The tying run is on third, and Cade Arambiti's up. And he hits a relatively soft one-hopper to the shortstop. And you have two options when you hit a ground ball in the infield and you got a runner at third base. You are either going on contact, go, or you are freezing to make the ball get through, or you are aware of where the infielders are and able to make a read when the ball hits the bat. Braden Simpson took none of these options. It was a floating line drive that bounced and went to the shortstop, and instead of going back to the bag, playing it safe and freezing, or taking off and going home, he just drifted towards home, staring at the shortstop. I don't know how that's possible. I really don't. I don't know how that's possible. These guys spend most of their waking time working on baseball. You have practices. You have a third base coach. It's not like this is super complicated stuff. I'm not asking a quarterback to read 11 guys on the defense. If it's a ground ball in the infield, you know what you're supposed to do. And even if you're not really sure, just go back to third. It's not a force. The only thing you really can't do is just get into no man's land and get yourself thrown out. And he did. This team does stuff like that all the time. And you might think I'm going to jump down Jake Brown's throat for getting thrown out at home in the eighth inning. I'm not. Jake Brown was hustling. The shortstop kicked the ball. There was some chaos. You had a lead, not trailing. Brown can fly. You made them make a play, and they threw you out. I don't love it, but I certainly don't hate it. I hate complete indecision on the base paths like what Braden Simpson had. You just can't do that. And Jay Johnson lamented it after the game. He was more frustrated than me. This is clearly not the way they're coached, and these guys just aren't doing the things they're supposed to do. Now, the good news is you didn't really pay for it because Jake Brown's awesome, and Jake Brown smashed it over the right field wall for a 3-run homer and gave you the lead. So it didn't really matter. But ultimately, if LSU is going to win some games in the second half of SEC play, you can't do garbage like that. You just can't. And it's easy. This is easy. It's just easy. It's easy to know what to do on third base. It's hard to hit 97 with a Snapdragon slider. It's hard to hit first-round future picks from the left side. Fielding ground balls can have its issues. It's hard to go to Athens and keep them in the ballpark. There are things that are hard. It is not hard to know what to do on third base. And Braden Simpson didn't know what to do. He just didn't know what to do. And I just can't accept that. Now, LSU looked to add on in the sixth. They loaded the bases for Curiel. He got a pitch up in the zone. I thought he put a decent swing on it, but he didn't hit it very good, and he flew out. So you spoil that. Marcos Paz comes in and was great in the seventh inning. 1, 2, 3. I've got a story up on LouisianaSports.net about Marcos Paz right now. He was awesome. They need to use him more. He was great in the seventh. Now, the eighth was more of this ridiculous LSU baseball that makes me want to scream. You've got a 2-run lead. You're playing Northwestern. Jay goes to Zion Theophilus. He walks the first guy on 5 pitches. The next guy hits a missile of a foul ball, and Jay Johnson goes, I've seen enough. He goes to Garcia. Garcia makes the pitch, gets the 2-pitch strikeout after the foul ball, but there's a wild pitch as well. So you've moved a runner into scoring position. Ground ball to third. John Pearson picks it up, throws wide to first base. Again, that's easy. Throwing the ball to first base is easy. You throw it away. Then you walk another pitch, another hitter, after a wild pitch. 2 wild pitches, 2 walks, an error. It's just a comedy of disaster. So they've got the bases loaded, and you go to Sheeran. And Sheeran does what he's supposed to do. Gets the strikeout. Then he gets a pop-up that's foul. And this is what I thought, honest to God, when the ball went up, bases loaded, LSU's up 2 outs, 8th inning, ball goes sky high, and I saw Sheeran and Pearson and the catcher, who I'm not even sure who the catcher was at that point in the game, it doesn't matter. They were all in foul territory. And I, God as my witness, looked at the television screen and I went, at least if they drop it, it's foul. Like, that's my thought when this team is playing defense. And John Pearson caught a basket catch by his belt that almost popped out of his glove. But it wouldn't have mattered if he dropped it because it was foul. And they got out of the inning. And then Sheeran just overpowered him in the 9th and got done. And so that's good. It's good that they won. It's good that there were some really good pitching performances. I thought Callan was just fine. I thought that Fontenot was great. I thought that Benj was great. I thought that Paz was great. I thought that Williams was great. I thought that Sheeran was great. There were some really good things in the game. One issue that I had, I'll bring this up, and just in transparency, I'm not trying to hide anything here. Benj, I thought, looked awesome. He came in and got Ricken out of a problem. And then he went out and was throwing great. He was throwing 96, 97. He was throwing strikes. He got some strikeouts. And with the runner on, Jay Johnson went to Cooper Williams to face the lefty. And I sat there and looked at the screen and I said, I hate this. You have so many pitchers that have come in and just thrown up all over themselves. Cooper Williams often this year has come in to get a left-hander out and plunked him on the first pitch. It's a close game. You've got a guy you know is throwing the ball well. You're trying to find guys that throw the ball well. Why would you take him out in that situation? I didn't like it at all. And Cooper Williams came in and snapped off 3 breaking balls and struck the left-handed hitter out, just like he's supposed to do. So Jay did the right thing. Cooper Williams did well. I'm wrong, but it's the way I felt watching the game, and I'm not really here to hide. I'm here to comment on how the LSU baseball team plays, and I've seen enough bad pitching this year that when I see somebody that's pitching good, I want them to pitch good as long as they can pitch good. But Jay got it right, got the lefty in there, and got it done. The offense was not great. No two ways about it. You left 8 guys on base. The situational stats were not good. With runners on base, LSU was 3 for 17. That's a 176 average. With runners in scoring position, you were 2 for 10. That's a 200 average. But thankfully, your pitching held Northwestern to 0 for 11 with runners on and 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. LSU got the leadoff man on 6 times in 8 tries in this game and only came up with 4 runs. That's a little bit disappointing, especially considering that your runs all came on home runs. You weren't able to manufacture really anything. But I'm not here to be a chooser. I'm a beggar, and I was begging for a win, and LSU got a win on Tuesday night against Northwestern, avoided some more disaster. And oh, by the way, this doesn't help anything for LSU, but just a nugget for LSU fans that didn't notice this last night. Bethune-Cookman went to Gainesville last night, scored 13 runs and won the game. They beat Florida. Florida's ranked in the top 5 in the country and has played great baseball, beating Georgia in a series. They're good. And Bethune-Cookman went over there and beat them. Bethune-Cookman is, I would say, an 80% chance to make the NCAA tournament. They're going to have to win their conference tournament, which is a complete crapshoot over the course of a week. But I would give them an 80% chance to do that. I think they're far and away the class of that conference. And they'll be a 4 seed, and they'll probably go 0-2. But I wouldn't be shocked at all to see them show up on a Sunday in a regional. They are legitimate. And that doesn't excuse LSU's loss in any way. You go out there and you beat Bethune-Cookman at the box. But just for a nugget for y'all, Bethune-Cookman did go on the road yesterday and beat Florida. So they beat SEC teams in back-to-back midweek games. They played played Miami to a really tight game earlier in the season. It was tied in the 6th inning. So they've got real players. They're a real team, and they scored 13 runs on Florida last night. LSU beats Northwestern 4-2. Now we'll move forward. All eyes on the Texas A&M Aggies coming up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 6 o'clock Friday, 7 o'clock Saturday late game, and then an afternoon tilt on Sunday. So that's a look at LSU baseball here on this Wednesday. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. They're online at builtbyrenaissance.com. We will take time out. We will come back. Lane Kiffin was asked a good question yesterday about an aspect of his defense that I had not considered. Let's talk about it.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Go take a tour at Marucci. Marucci, founded by a pair of former big leaguers. You would expect them to dabble in the inner workings of baseball, and they're a trainer. And they said, let's make a bat, and it was pretty good. And they said, let's make some more bats, and they were pretty good. And people started swinging the bats. People liked the bats. Fast forward 22 years, the official bat of Major League Baseball. You want to know where 1,200 of those are made every day? Go to Marucci, take a tour. You want to learn the story over 2 decades of how Marucci went from a backyard in Baton Rouge to a global brand? You can do that by taking the tour. You find the tickets at maruccisports.com/campus-tour. A reminder, as every day, every ticket to the tour comes with a 20% discount in the Campus Tour store and in the Hitter's House. So check them out online at maruccisports.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
At Parrish, we take pride in building roofs that last. Because in Louisiana, toughness isn't just on the court, it's in your home too.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
The weather's heating up. Pool season's upon us, but that doesn't mean it's a bad time to call Renaissance Homes and Pools. In fact, it's a great time to text the owner, Joey Blanchard, say, hey, let's talk about getting that pool figured out. You text them at 225-252-7745. They can get you in that pool while it's still really hot outside, because that's going to be the case around here until what, mid-October, right? You're talking about April right now. So give Joey a call or text him at 225-252-7745. He's with you every step of the way. That's the beauty of working with a local company like Renaissance Homes and Pools. He's there for the consultation. He's there for the design. Whether you know what you're looking for or you have no idea, you just would like a pool, he can help you with that discussion. He's there when they design it. He's there when you dig it, when you fill it, when you finish it. Joey's there every single step of the way. That's the difference between working with some companies and working with a local company like Renaissance Homes and Pools. If you're looking for an outdoor kitchen, they can do it at Renaissance Homes and Pools. If you're looking to build your forever home, they can do it at Renaissance Homes and Pools. 225-252-7745 is Joey Blanchard's cell number. He's the owner of the company. He can help you out with it. Renaissance Homes and Pools, online at builtbyrenaissance.com. All right, a good question, I thought, from Blake Ruffino in the media yesterday to Lane Kiffin about one aspect of this LSU defense that obviously I was aware of because I'm aware of all the starters on the defense, but I had not thought about it a ton as we've looked at everything. I've spent more of my time paying attention to the functionality of the offense. I spent a lot of time watching Blake Baker bounce back and forth between different position groups. I'm looking at the young players on the defensive line. I've kind of felt as though the secondary looked pretty stable, and I haven't spent a lot of time watching them because, like, I know what DJ Pickett looks like. I know what PJ Woodland looks like. I feel like I got a pretty good handle for what DeMarcus Cooley is going to do. I've seen Deshaun Spears play. Ty Benefield is new, and you see him the first couple of days, but like he looks like a really good player and a guy that I don't have to spend a lot of time watching to figure that out. But something that Blake asked about was, hey, like, you got a lot of size back there. And that's true. Like, you don't find 6'5" corners. DJ Pickett is a unicorn, but he is a 6'5" corner. And then you look into the secondary, into the safety position, and Deshaun Spears is tall. He is 6'3" and, like, all of that. He might be 6'4". He's big. And Ty Benefield is long and rangy. Now, PJ Woodland's not the biggest guy around, no. But you've got guys back there with really long arms, rangy strides that can cover a lot of ground. And Lane Kiffin talked about kind of that group with that skill set yesterday.
They're really, really long, and they have really good ball skills. I always joke, sometimes guys will lead the team or the conference in pass breakups. That just means they have bad hands because they're dropping the ball, dropping interceptions. These guys have really good ball skills. Really, if you think about all 5 of them, if you count Sean and Nichols, so there's really 5. And because of their length, and then they make the plays on the ball. That's why you see high interception numbers. So that's been awesome. Obviously, that's great to have. I remember Colin Coward used to talk about length in basketball all the time and the transition into football. There's a lot of things to your length in defensive play in football and in college football because you have so many perimeter plays with the hash marks that guys got to take on and play. And that's part of the struggles offensively is because these guys are so good at taking those plays away.
You just erase space more quickly if you're rangy. And that's very true. Obviously, when you shrink things down to a basketball court, you understand your length in a zone defense can take up like the entire floor. You can't do that on a 53-yard wide football field, but your length is important, playing the ball in 50-50 balls, obviously. And I think the range of these guys' strides, because not only are they long, but they're fast, they can run. And we talked to DJ Pickett last week, and he was talking about how people say he's got bad hands, but like he was a high school receiver. He had over 1,000 yards in high school receiving. He's played receiver really his entire life. He does have the ability to go up and play the ball. He did that a couple times last year. When I think about length, I think about the play that DJ Pickett made in the fourth quarter against Florida last year. Florida was in a little bit of desperation mode. Lagway was seeing ghosts in a big way. He'd already thrown, I think, 4 interceptions. And he winged it out wide to the right sideline as Florida was moving toward the south end zone. And Pickett came flying up the sideline, up the field, full stride, full extension, and caught it going the other way. That's length. It's the ability to use your long legs to stride across the field. It's the ability to high point the ball above potential wide receivers. DJ Pickett is one of the few cornerbacks in all of football, not just college, the NFL, all of football, that is got a height advantage on most of the guys that are across the line of scrimmage from him. It gives you length at the line of scrimmage. If you want to jam guys, you can get your hands on them before they get their hands on you because your arms are longer. It's just a boxing trick. And I was thinking about cornerback yesterday when we were going through the Aiden Anding situation, and unfortunately he's going to miss the entirety of the season. And I was thinking about how LSU was going to line up coverages, and you look at this, like, yeah, Pickett's going to be on one side, Woodland's going to be on the other side. You'll have Cooley playing deep. You'll also have Ty Benefield playing safety, and as Lane Kiffin just mentioned, Deshaun Spears is going to help you in coverage at the nickel spot. And Deshaun Spears played limited snaps last year. He was not a full-time player. You had A.J. Halsey back there. You had Tamarcus Cooley back there. You were stacked at cornerback as well. And Spears, at times, struggled to get to the field. He played a lot in the nickel, and he was always on the field on the dime roll. And that was really it for him. But his coverage grades on Pro Football Focus are really, really good. Now, sure, he had 2 interceptions in the game against Florida, and that certainly helps when you have limited time and you go out there and make 2 plays and take the ball back the other way for one of them for a pick 6. Like, yeah, your grades are going to be really good, but he's a good cover player. And so while that spot generally in the nickel is reserved for a corner, if you feel good enough with 6'2", 6'3" Deshaun Spears to go down there and cover, well, that's another added piece of length to that secondary. And they are going to be long and they are going to be rangy. And I'll say this, as I evaluate LSU secondary play, specifically at corner and in the nickel spot every single year, that's going to be one that I generally give the benefit of the doubt to. That doesn't mean your secondary is going to be awesome every year. But with Corey back there, like, I just am going to default to that's going to be pretty good. And I think that he looks for characteristics in his players. And not that he was instrumental in recruiting Ty Benefield or instrumental in recruiting Deshaun Spears or Tamarcus Cooley, but he certainly was with DJ Pickett. And he certainly was with Jakeem Jackson, who's pretty rangy. And this is the profile of cover guys that he generally wants. Mansour Delane measured in at 5'11" at the combine. Put a pair of spikes on, you're 6 feet tall, right? He likes guys that have long arms and are rangy. And you've got that on this team. So this is not the time of year to prognosticate wins and losses, not the time of year to make sweeping generalizations and judgments. This is optimism time. This is positivity time. Anything that's not an injury can be considered a positive depending on what side of the ball you're pulling for in a scrimmage. But inarguably, objectively, LSU's secondary is very, very tall, very, very long, and very, very athletic. And that's part of the battle. Now you've got to put them in a scheme. Now you've got to teach them technique and the ability to execute play in and play out. And it doesn't hurt if you can get some pressure on the passer while you're at it. But I thought an interesting question yesterday, an interesting answer from something that I was certainly aware of. I was aware LSU had some tall guys. I didn't give it any thought. I'm looking at other things because that secondary group kind of looks put together to me. I don't know as much about the offensive line, especially left guard. I don't know as much about the defensive front, especially at the tackle spots. I don't know about how well LSU is going to rush the passer. I don't know who the punter is going to be. There are a lot of question marks around this team that I'm looking for at practice in our 15, 20 minutes every day. Secondary just hasn't gotten a lot of my time. I took some time on it yesterday and into this morning, and I feel pretty good about that, especially when you consider the body types of the guys that they've brought in. That's a very, very, very good thing for LSU. All right, we're moving along here on our Wednesday shows brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. We will step aside, come back, play a little What If Wednesday. That is next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, LifetimeRoofingLA.com, LifetimeRoofingLA.com. Their core values over at Lifetime Roofing: customer service, quality, and integrity. So important when you talk about the roofing industry. There are a lot of options to get a new roof, right? In fact, some that come in when they see an opportunity if there's a weather event. That's why you've got to trust somebody that's got integrity. It's going to be here for the right reasons. Lifetime Roofing is a company that's owned and operated by local South Louisiana and Baton Rouge area natives. They've got integrity. They're here to help the community. Quality, of course. You're going to get great quality of work. They back it with a lifetime workmanship warranty. You know you're getting great quality. And then the customer service. Again, it's about service for the folks at Lifetime Roofing, making sure they're a part of this community and understanding that, yeah, sometimes you're just selling a roof and you got to do a great job with that, but oftentimes roofing companies are intervening in a time of crisis, and they understand that customer service is paramount in that way. So if it's time for you to get a new roof, or when the time comes for a new roof or a roof inspection or roof repair, Lifetime Roofing. Find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
My father, J.B. Falgout, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgout.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email LockeMeredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
We are always brought to you by our friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They bring you our opening drive every single day, and they can get you on a new opening drive here as we're now inching toward the halfway mark in 2026. If that lease is about to expire or you're just looking for a new ride, Fabry Chevrolet GMC is certainly happy to have you. Maybe you're thinking about getting that high school grad in your life or college grad in your life a new ride for the next adventure, whether that's college or the professional world. If you're thinking about doing that, check out Fabry Chevrolet GMC. The entire inventory is online at fabrychevrolet.com. They've got all the SUVs you could want, the Chevy Tahoes and Chevy Tahoes and Suburbans. Of course, on the truck side, they got the Silverados as well. The GMCs, they got the Sierras, they got the Yukons. They're all online, and they're all there on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. So if you're looking for an awesome deal, 5 figures off of Silverados and Sierras. If you're looking for a great deal, just make that short drive up to St. Francisville on Highway 61. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online at fabrychevrolet.com. Obviously, Aiden Anding, really tough break earlier this week. Well, I should say back over the weekend on Saturday, tore the Achilles. We'll talk a little bit about that with our friend Dr. Jeremy Burnham from Auctioner. We'll get to that in our next segment. Koki Riley's here in 35 minutes talking LSU baseball. SEC baseball power rankings coming your way in 1 hour. There have been so many interesting happenings. Texas lost every game over the weekend. Georgia's dropped a series. Ole Miss is creeping back into it. They sweep LSU. What's going on with Mississippi State? They got swept. There's a lot going into that. So in 55 minutes or so, we'll get to my power rankings. But for right now, it is What If Wednesday.
Time, space, reality. It's more than a linear path. Where a single choice can branch out into infinite realities. Follow me and ponder the question, what if?
All right, so what if Connor Griffin somehow made it to campus? Does Stephen Milam still get a chance to become the best shortstop in LSU history, or does he stay at second base?
It's interesting. Griffin can play anywhere.
Yeah.
And he would have been on the team last year, not this year. So he would have probably played.
Yeah, who job he would have took?
I mean, I guess what you would have had was you would have had either Griffin at third or short and Milam at the other spot is what they would have probably done. I find it hard to believe that Griffin is a better defender than Milam. He could be. He's a better athlete, but I mean, I don't know how you could be a lot better than Stephen Milam has been at LSU this year, and he made 5 errors last year. So if you could shore up third base where you couldn't hit it all last year, and Braswell was out there making defensive plays, like that's probably a better spot for Griffin. It's a power profile. I honestly haven't looked at where he's playing for the Pirates.
I thought he was in the outfield.
Yeah, he can. I mean, he played high school shortstop, but he certainly can play outfield. Let me see. I'll look because the Cubs actually played the Pirates this weekend, but I was
the Pirates looking kind of nasty right now.
The Pirates are not looking nasty. I can promise you that.
All right, let's see.
But you can get to the next one, and I'll check this out. But I think he probably would have played third base.
All right, so what if we got Lang in Game 3 in 2017?
If you get to Lang in Game 3 of 2017, for those that aren't aware, if LSU would have won either of the first 2 games in the championship series, Alex Lang would have been ready to pitch Game 3. Alex Faedo for Florida would have only been on 2 days rest. LSU would have been a prohibitive favorite because if you remember, that was not a prolific Florida offense. That was not actually one of Kevin O'Sullivan's best teams. He had a really good 1-2 punch with Faedo and Singer at the top of the rotation, but LSU would have been in a very, very good spot with Alex Lang on the mound. They would have been a favorite to win Game 3 should the series have gotten that far, but it didn't. So credit to them. Connor Griffin's playing shortstop for the Pirates. So if you can play shortstop for the Pirates, you can play shortstop for LSU. I'll kick Stephen Milam over to third base. That's the most sensible option. I honestly didn't know where he was playing, but yeah, if you can play shortstop in the big leagues, you can play it for LSU. So I'm not going to try to, Stephen Milam's only made 6 errors in 2 years. You can play it in the big leagues. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
All right, so what if you were invited to the Live Golf's reported emergency meeting today in New York?
You want me to answer that sincerely, or do you want me to have fun with that?
I kind of want you to have fun for take it or leave it with this one. Like this is take it or leave it.
All right. If I was invited, I'll take it seriously. If I was invited, which for no reason I couldn't be, I would keep my mouth shut and I would just listen.
Okay.
And I honestly, if we're being honest, I would probably take out my cell phone and just record the whole thing so that I could have that, and then I would listen to it on the flight home. Because
would you sell that footage?
Hearing these people crawl in a hole and quit is going to be wonderful. I'm not even remotely naive enough or willing to sit here and like pontificate about how I would tell them all they were stupid and laugh in their face. These are billionaires with, oh, by the way, horrendous human rights records. So I'm not exactly limitless resources and not good dudes. Probably not going to get up there and laugh in their face. I'm not that dumb. I'm not that stupid, but I would be feeling it all the way on the inside. All the way on the inside.
So like, how would your day go? You wake up smiling, like you're waking up smiling. You might get some breakfast. You just can't stop smiling.
I got bagels up there in Manhattan. You know what I might do? I might go and just go to Cat's Deli and just get a huge big old sandwich for breakfast. How about that?
Just pig out.
Head on into the boardroom and hear what old Yasser has to say about his complete failure of a golf tour. How about that?
Oh, sounds like a great morning to me. So
sounds like a wonderful morning.
What if the Saints trade down in the draft? Will it snow in April?
I mean, I think it will.
Yeah, I'm about to say, pigs
New
flying.
Orleans. I mean, that's just not going to happen. I got asked this question on New Orleans radio on Saturday when I went on.
Okay.
They said, is it a spot where maybe if somebody's a little bit desperate, you feel like you're looking receiver and there's like 3 more on the board, that you move back 3 or 4 spots? And I said, I'm not making this up. This is not conjecture or speculation. Like literally on the record, Mickey Loomis said, if you trade back, you get a worse player. He said that on the board. Now, what he fails to continue to add on to that is, if you want to say if you trade back, you get a quote-unquote worse player, what is also inarguable is you get more players.
Yep.
So that's really the point. You get more chances to get an impact player. No one's arguing that there are better players in the 3rd round than there are the 2nd round. There, of course, are, but it's not you would take them in the 2nd round if you felt that way immediately. The question is, can you trade back and get more value for the one spot? But no, the Saints will not do that because Mickey has already said you get worse players. So that's not going to happen.
And also, man, like that's just something Mickey doesn't do. Mickey's a gambler. He wants to move up. If anything, if you ask him right now, if there was a scenario where he wants to trade up, he probably would. Now, I doubt the whole war room in there saying to trade up. But if it's up to Mickey Loomis, he's definitely giving up picks. It's just in his blood. So
let me talk about a couple of comments in the Bayou Ford chat.
Okay.
Milam isn't the best shortstop in LSU history. He's not even in the top 5. That's correct overall. That's correct. Defensively, he's the best I've ever seen. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about defense here. We already know these two guys are in the lineup. Where are they going to play? And then there's the thought at Milam playing second with Griffin at shortstop. Dickinson's your second baseman because Milam's a better defender than Dickinson. Dickinson was very, very good at second base. I don't know what he would have looked like at third base. They tried that a little bit in the fall last year. I don't even know really how it went. But Milam's hands are plenty good enough, and his arm's good enough to play third base. So I think if Griffin came, it'd be Milam at third, Griffin at short, and Dickinson at second, and that would have been...
Sounds nasty.
That would have been quite good. You would have turned... Because at the end of the season, you had Michael Braswell hitting like a $180 at third base.
Yeah.
You'd have had Connor Griffin, who in a college season, if I'm looking at his AAA stats, in a college season probably would have hit 405 with 15, 18 homers.
Oh my goodness.
You would have turned your worst spot in the lineup offensively into your best spot in the lineup offensively. So that would have been good. Team would have been pretty good.
405, my goodness. All right, well
And Cruz hit 426. So he was a third-year player, and he's now in AAA. But he hit a home run today off of Trey Savage, who's coming back.
For the Jays, huh?
Yeah, pitched in the World Series last year. He's on a rehab assignment in AAA. So Cruz saw him and hit him out to right center field, which I saw.
Love to see that. So that's it for What If Wednesday.
All right, that's it for What If Wednesday. They're going through some really good LSU shortstops. Russ Johnson, very good. Austin Nola, very good. Ryan Terrio, my guy. Huge help to the station and my first favorite LSU baseball player. Not as good a defender as Stephen Milam, though. Way better hitter. Awesome hitter. National champion, like Stephen Milam. But defense, I like Milam. All right, Jordan Thompson, the GOAT. Maybe national champion. I love Jordan Thompson. Great Omaha story. Don't know if he's the GOAT, but appreciate y'all for interacting with us here in the Bayou Ford chat and for being here on a Wednesday show. Let me remind you about Swing Easy Golf Club before we get to for our auctioneer segment. Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge, swingeasygcbr.com. They've got memberships available. If you're interested in becoming a member, which gives you some perks in terms of bay reservations and hours early in the month, you can certainly do that. If you want a corporate membership so that your entire organization is allowed those privileges and you can entertain clients, whether it's a great Saturday up there or right, a lunchtime you go over and hit some golf balls, or maybe a happy hour that you can do at Swing Easy Golf Club. Our sales team did that last week and had a blast over there. So look into some membership options at Swing Easy Golf Club. They're on Segan at Perkins, swingeasygcbr.com on the website. They're again Segan at Perkins, Swing Easy Golf Club, swingeasygcbr.com. Don't read and try to do an ad read, folks. Don't read on your computer and try to just do an ad read from memory. Appreciate them for being a part of every single show that we do. We'll come back and chat with our guy, Dr. Jeremy Burnham from Oxford. That is next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. If you've had a Generac home standby generator installed at your home and you've never heard from the manufacturer or the big box store that sold it from you ever again, and you don't have anyone monitoring it and you're not really sure who to call for maintenance, you can get the Boudreaux's Boost. Call them at Boudreaux's Electrical. Just because you didn't buy your Generac home standby generator from them doesn't mean they can't help. In fact, they want to help. So you can become part of their club, and they'll come out and make sure that everything's running smoothly so that when you need that generator to spring into action to power your home, they're ready to do it. Same thing goes for your business. If you want to make sure that your business doesn't lose power, Boudreaux's Electrical Services can do that, and they can help monitor and do the maintenance on your Generac home standby generator. So give them a call, 985-397-1562, 985-397-1562, or 225-9389, 225-300-9389. That's Boudreaux's Electrical Services.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. Look, back pain can sideline you from the things you love. That's why I trust Dr. Kevin McCarthy and the team at the Spine Center of Louisiana. Dr. McCarthy doesn't just treat symptoms. He gets to the root of the problem. From advanced injection therapy to minimally invasive surgery, they've got the expertise to get you back in the game. With 5 locations across Louisiana, including right here in Baton Rouge, quality care is close to home. Call the Spine Center of Louisiana or visit spinecenterla.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
At Parrish, we're built for tough players and tough roofs.
Coach is tough on us about preparation, and Parrish brings that same championship mindset.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
ParrishBuilt.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Wrapping up hour number 2 here. No, that's hour number 1. Wrapping up hour number 1. Wrapping up hour number 2 would be nice. That'd be the end of the show, but we still got an hour of fun to have here on the Hunt Palmer Show on a Wednesday. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Time now for Sports Health, presented by Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. We welcome in Dr. Jeremy Burnham. Dr. Burnham, how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm doing great, hon. I'm looking forward to the next hour. I'm glad you still have an hour left.
So am I. I got some baseball to talk. We got some Saints to talk, power rankings, so we'll have some fun there. But I'm excited to talk to you. I know y'all are out at Central High School this afternoon doing physicals. How are the good people of Central these days?
Hey, they're doing fantastic. You know, they've had a lot of success, multiple sports over there. Such an impressive program, impressive school. We're happy to be out there in the community. And this is something we do every year. We do physicals around the community, just screening athletes, making sure that they're healthy to start that upcoming summer and fall season. So everything's going great out there.
It's good to hear. I'm curious about Achilles injuries. Obviously, the news of the week was that LSU lost defensive back Aiden Anding to a season-ending Achilles injury, as Lane Kiffin framed it earlier this week. It sounds like that's a pretty grueling rehabilitation deal. What can you tell us about that specific injury? Not Aiden's, as we speak in specifics, but just the Achilles injury as a whole.
Achilles injuries, and this is kind of, you've probably heard this with some other injuries that we talk about on the show, but Achilles injuries are one of the injuries that we're really seeing more and more of.
Yeah.
and younger. I think historically we would hear about them a lot in somebody that was 40 to 60 years of age. But now we're seeing that the average age actually in the NBA for a torn Achilles is 30 years old. So we've seen that trend change. You know, your Achilles is where your calf connects to your heel bone. That's all of your push-off strength, your jumping. It helps to control when you're landing. It's a really important tendon in the body. You know, when people have these injuries, a lot of times, especially in like a professional or collegiate athlete, that patient is getting surgery. There are some really good non-surgical treatment options for Achilles injuries in most people, but I think if your job and your career depends on your push-off strength, that most time that's getting fixed. You're looking usually 6 to 12 months of recovery, so it's not an overnight thing. Aaron Rodgers, everybody probably remembers he came back, you know, really early from that, but there's some downsides to doing that as well. And even when people get back in the NBA specifically, because we see so many of them there, but people get back at that 6 to 12 month range, it sometimes takes 2 years to really get back to the same level of play that they were before.
Man, I know that every case is different, but I'm just curious when you say that you're seeing more of those in younger people, is it just a bigger, faster, stronger? The humans and athletes are bigger and faster, stronger than they've ever been, and the body sometimes has trouble keeping up with that?
It's probably a combo of that. That certainly plays a role, and as you know, you know what people are doing athletically now is different than what people were doing even 10, 20 years ago. Some of it probably has to do with year-round sports. I know that's kind of a theme that we talk about a lot, but there's definitely some theories that attritional wear over time from doing the same type of movement over and over and over may play a role in that. Tendons respond really well to load, the right kind of load that triggers the tendon to kind of keep regenerating itself. But we've learned that if the tendon experiences the same exact movement or the same exact load over and over and over, that it will sometimes wear down that tendon. And then maybe it's a weakened tendon, and then it just takes just the right injury for it to pop.
I'm curious, and I realize that you're not a coach, and you're not, your job is not to get teams ready to play, but you certainly have experience on the football field. Lane Kiffin spoke earlier this week about how they're not going to practice to tackle it all during the spring. They're trying to keep guys healthy. I understand that. What's your kind of view as a doctor and somebody who spent a lot of time on the football field, and the balance that coaches have to weigh with players that now cost a lot of money, as well as trying to get them ready to go?
Yeah, I think it's a very difficult job. You know, I love to see all of the advancements and people like Lane Kiffin and other coaches at LSU and elsewhere using science to kind of determine and data to determine what they do. There's really a lot that goes into how many minutes they put into practice, which periods they do, how much individual they do versus team, how much contact versus non-contact. And I think it's a lot better than, you know, maybe what happened in the old days when you just went out there and practiced as much as you possibly could. A lot of data that they look at from a recovery standpoint, sleep, you know, nutrition optimization. And so it's really become a very high level thing to decide how much you practice and how much you recover and how much you rest. It just goes to show you, though, if you are going to play sports, you know, and I tell patients this too, you can get hurt doing anything. It's all about trying to stack the deck in your favor and optimize everything, but you can't prevent every single injury that's happening.
Obviously, but you can certainly check athletes out, as y'all are doing in Central today, and y'all are doing a lot of this time of year. You mentioned to me earlier today mass physicals for high schoolers Saturday, May 16th, 8 to 2 o'clock at Elite. What can you tell us?
Yeah, that's right. So we try to have an opportunity. We go to some of the schools that we work with, and we also do a mass physicals day, 8 to 2 o'clock, May 16th. That's a Saturday. We're going to do it at Elite, right at the corner of Burbank and Lee. We bring in our whole team. We accommodate several hundred athletes throughout the day. You know, you can come there. It's free. You can come there without an appointment. If you need to get a physical, we're there for you. So everybody put that on their calendars. We'll have our whole team of athletic trainers, our physical therapists help with that, PAs, nurse practitioners, doctors. We'll have the whole group out there. And really trying to, you know, just make that easy for parents to get their kids with the right paperwork and the right physical screening.
Can't be any easier, as he mentioned. If you heard that and went, I missed the date, we got it for you one more time. Saturday, May the 16th, so coming up in 1 month, 8 to 2 at Elite over on Burbank. You can walk up. It is free. Don't need an appointment and get that high school athlete in your family checked out with a physical. Dr. Burnham, thanks so much. Keep up the good work out there in Central, and we'll talk in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Have a great hour too, hon.
We'll do it. We will do it. That's Dr. Jeremy Burnham over with Ochsner. That's man, I can so rarely speak to the sports that we cover, right? Like, Hester and Flynn can talk about college football and the NFL from a literal first-hand experience. They can do it. I can't do that with almost anything we do. Like, really almost anything. The one thing you would think I might be able to talk about is, like, did you ever get hurt? Because, like, you've covered a lot of guys that get hurt. I never really got hurt either. I sprained my ankle one time. And so I have no perspective on, like, significant rehabs and any of that either. But it just sounds like this Achilles deal for Aiden Anning is going to be one that is going to take a lot of effort. And that's just, it's a bummer. I'm bummed out for him. And this is going to be his year to kind of break out and be a real part of the secondary. And we talked about this last week because it was the story of the week last week. But like Gabe Relaford just did a whole fall of rehab. Got hurt in the first month of the season. Whole fall of rehab, come back, second workout, boom. Obviously, you have that injury. He's going to miss potentially and probably the entire season. Like, as much of a grind as the physical rehabilitation is, what that does to you mentally is tough as well. So just thinking about those guys as they are going to have a long rest of 2026, trying to get back to playing some of their best football, hopefully next spring and then back into the following fall in 2027. But always appreciate Dr. Burnham's perspective and the good people at Ochsner for giving us a little bit of their time on Wednesdays. That's it for hour number 1. Hour number 2 is coming at you. Koki Riley will be here in 5 minutes. SEC Power Rankings coming up in 35 minutes plus. A little bit of Saints talk as well. We'll pause for Sports Center. Come back with hour 2. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
GoTro's Outdoor Power. GoTro's Outdoor Power. That grass is growing, and you got to get it cut. So if you need to maintain your property and you're looking for a zero-turn mower to do that, well, you need to check out the folks at GoTro's Outdoor Power. Family-owned and operated for 22 years. 2 locations, Baton Rouge on Airline Highway and, of course, in Gonzales as well. When I say family-owned and operated, you might think small. Don't. It's just not true. They're the largest parts inventory in the state of Louisiana. They're the largest Hustler inventory in the state of Louisiana. And they were the National Hustler Dealer of the Year 2 of the last 3 years. They know what they're doing at GoTro's Outdoor Power. So if you're looking to get behind the wheel of a zero-turn mower, you want some financing on that, you can get behind the wheel for $100 a month. That's an incredible deal. So go by and see them. 2 locations, Airline Highway in Baton Rouge and in Gonzales. I always give you the website as well. It's GoTrosOnline.com. It's GoTro's Outdoor Power. Find them online at GoTrosOnline.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Everything you need for a stunning garden is at the Plant Barn in Baton Rouge. From trees and shrubs to plants and pottery, the Plant Barn has it all at great prices. Visit us today on Valley Street, right off Perkins Road in South Downs.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa room retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with advanced office systems.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The NBA play-in tournament continues tonight. Starts off with the East 7-8 matchup as the 76ers take on the Magic. Winner faces Boston, round one of the playoffs. The loser plays Charlotte for 8th and a first-round meeting with Detroit. Then a winner go home in the West. 9-seed Clippers host the 10-seed Warriors, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Golden State Steph Curry, Kristaps Porzingis, and Al Horford all on a minutes restriction. ESPN NBA analyst Chiney Agwumike.
For Steph, Porzingis, and Al Horford, anytime you're going into playoffs knowing that your stars are limited, it does not bode well. And speaking of restrictions, the guy who's not on one is Kawhi Leonard. Ever since they started 6-21, the Clippers, he's averaged 29, and he's looked like an all-NBA player. So it seems like two teams trending in different directions, and that makes it really difficult for Golden State.
The winner will face the Suns for the 8th seed. Like the Pirates did with Connor Griffin, the Tigers are locking up their top rookie long-term. Detroit and shortstop Kevin McGonigal agreed on an 8-year, $150 million deal. WNBA four-time MVP Asia Wilson signed a 3-year, $5 million Supermax extension to stay with Vegas.
Hey, it's Evan Cohen coming up Thursday. With a week away from the draft, we ask one of our favorite insiders which team he believes will control the draft. It's on Sportsman 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
This is a catastrophe.
You are now listening to The Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
That's what I wished for when I blew out my candle.
Locking down the middle of the day. Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
The floor is yours.
Hour 2. Wednesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Half the work week officially in the rear view mirror. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We're brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Mass SEC Baseball Power Rankings coming up in 30 minutes. Let's talk some baseball with Koki Riley from The Advocate. He's with us on Wednesdays at 2 o'clock. Joins us on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Koki, how are you?
Doing pretty well. How's it going?
Going quite well. How was Oxford over the weekend other than the baseball? Beautiful little college town. Did you spend some time on the square?
A little bit, yeah, and went out to eat a little bit, and yeah, it's just such a different vibe than LSU, where it's like you're in this actual city and there's other things going on, and in Oxford it's Ole Miss and that's it. So you better like Ole Miss if you're living in Oxford. I'll say that.
Well, not a lot of folks around here digging on Ole Miss after the weekend. LSU lost all three. It was disappointing to me to watch LSU's offense against some really talented arms. What did you make of the Tigers' offense against some guys that can really pitch it?
I thought they just kind of let those guys off the hook a little bit, where they get off to good starts at the plate. They're putting some balls in play. They're scoring some runs and getting off 2-0 leads. And I think both the first two games of the series, and all of a sudden, Cade Townsend and Hunter Elliott are just mowing down batters one after one, and it is. I mean, LSU had a couple of missed opportunities to sort of blow out the lead in both these games, and yeah, it's just a lot of the two-out hitting, a lot of the inability to drive in runners in scoring position. That was really the big issue for them for most of the series. Sunday was a different story, but yeah, it was just a lot of it was just them letting both those guys off the hook, because it seemed like they had pretty good game plans heading in, and they were executing to some degree early on, and then all of a sudden they let those guys get into a rhythm, especially with Townsend after the first couple innings. And it's just kind of disappointing because like they had the talent to sort of capitalize on these guys a little bit, especially if they're leaving pitches in the zone. But they just weren't really executing. That's kind of been the theme of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Jay Johnson said after the game on Friday, like, we just have to play baseball better. And he's talking about not stepping on second base, and they make base running errors almost nightly and not throwing the ball over the plate and all of that. I mean, how have you seen Jay kind of handle this version of the disappointing season like we saw 2 years ago?
I think he's incredibly frustrated with this team. Even last night where they win the game, and beat a pretty decent Northwestern State team, he's saying that exact thing again. Like, we have to just play better. Like, granted, this team it's not like they're not trying. It's not like they don't have any fight. They've had a bunch of comeback wins this season when they have won. It's just they can't execute, and they just keep on making these very dumb mental mistakes on the base paths, and they keep on, there's just constant errors in the field, and all these things are kind of what's really driving him up a wall, combined with some of the situational stuff on offense, and then the pitching staff just being as inconsistent as it has been so far this year. So, I don't know if their pitching is that far off from what it's been in the past, or even their offense, but it's a lot of the other stuff around the margins, if you want to call fielding and base running around the margins, that have absolutely failed them this year, and you just haven't really seen that during his time at LSU.
Let's go to what should be the backbone of this team, which is Kason Evans and William Schmidt. I don't think anybody is here to suggest that those guys have been a disaster by any stretch, but certainly have not lived up to what the 1-2 punch was last year. What is your feeling about those two guys for the last 5 weeks of SEC play?
You hope for another step forward, and I think with those two guys in place, you feel good about next year's rotation, but they need those guys to be next year's version of themselves over the next 5 weeks, right? And I don't know if that's like necessarily totally realistic to expect. I think Kason Evans is probably further ahead in his development. You don't see that in the ERA. I think he's further ahead in his development in terms of just like mastering his stuff, and it just, when he's on, he's really, really on. And I don't know. I feel like some of the mistakes that Evans has had are like pretty like smaller correctable things, while with Schmidt it feels like it's like the constant lack of efficiency in his starts points to something a little bit bigger. You know what I mean? So I feel like I feel pretty good about those guys moving forward, but it's not really moving forward the next 5 weeks. It's moving forward into next season, right? Like, I think that's kind of where you're at with this rotation at the moment. And then you might get Cooper Moore to help you out a little bit this week, but I don't think he's going to be fully ready to start games right away, at least. So, that's just kind of where this pitching staff is at the starting pitching staff is at the moment. And then you have the bullpen, which is the full kind of a potpourri of different options, and you're not sure what you're going to get with most of these guys on most nights. And I don't know, like it's kind of where they're at right now.
You mentioned Cooper Moore hopefully coming back for a limited role this weekend. Jay mentioned like maybe one inning. If that's the case, as badly as they've struggled with starting the games on Sunday, even though they won 2 of them, is there a world where Sheeran's the closer Friday and Saturday if you get a lead, and if you split those, then Cowan can start on Sunday?
I can see a world where that happens. It depends how sick Jay is of like falling behind in these Sunday games.
Yeah.
And like Gavin Guidry was the guy in the Kentucky game. Fondo's been the guy the last 2 weeks in these series finales. Granted, LSU's offense has been lights out in a good way against these kind of back into the bullpen Sunday days. So they kind of have that to lean on. But if they just get off to a good start, they're going to win one. They're going to win these games because of the way the offense can just kind of mow through an opposing team's bullpen. So like knowing that and knowing this team's specific tendency with doing that, I wouldn't be stunned to see then be a little bit more aggressive with the starter and who they pick on Sunday. And I know Jay's had a lot of confidence in Grant Fontenot, but like Fontenot, as much as he's improved from last season, he still gives up a lot of hits. His command isn't perfect. He'll still walk a guy here and there. So it's not like he's the perfect answer for that. Maybe you just want to use a guy like that on a Saturday when you're up by 3 runs or down by 3 runs in the 6th inning, right? Like that, he seems more appropriate for a role like that than be the guy who's like, well, we need to get off to a good start. Let's turn the Grant Fontenot. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think Sheeran will almost exclusively be used at the end of games. He's just, given his style as a pitcher, he's better used as that fire-breathing dragon coming out of the bullpen to close out the game. He has the attitude for it. He has the stuff for it. His delivery is not meant for him to be a starter, really, by any means. So that's kind of what I would do, but we'll see what Jay does.
Right now, Jay's playing Mason Braun every day at first base. Does that continue? I
think so, as long as Braun's churning out the quality of bats that he has been churning out. I'm blanking on what he did last night exactly. I mean, not most guys didn't really do much at the plate last night, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I mean, over the weekend he was really, really good. Even though he went over 4 on Sunday, he had like a really hard hit ball that just got caught. So he's churning out consistently good at bats. He's a good contactor. Defensively, there's a lot of work to be done there, but he's catching the routine stuff. So I guess that's an upgrade from what they got from Zach York in the Tennessee series. So he's giving you something on one side of the ball or the other, and that's not what you were getting at first base through much of conference play. So that alone is why I think he's going to stick there, at least for now.
Yeah, last night 0 for 2, but he did walk. He had a sacrifice hit. He got that bunt down. I remember him trying to bunt. He got it down, I'm assuming. It's credited here, and it wasn't a sac fly because they didn't have a sac fly that scored a run. So it must have been 0 for 2 with the walk and a sac bunt last night.
Yeah, that's good enough. You know, like that is like. But he also had like a 3-hit game against Ole Miss.
Yeah.
So like when you factor in all that stuff, like he had 5 hits over the weekend. Like that will do. Like that will definitely play. Granted, you want to have your first baseman have more power than he does, but they can't be picky right now. They got to just get somebody who can do something on one side of the ball or the other. Like that's kind of the key at first base for them right now.
All right, these Aggies do not have great pitching. They're limited in that perspective. They hit a ton. How do you feel about the matchup this weekend in the box?
It's kind of interesting, right? Like I think LSU could do some pretty good damage against this pitching staff. As you said, like they don't have a whole, like A&M really doesn't have much pitching. Weston Moss, Shane Steyo, it's light, right? And because of that, like LSU does a pretty good job of just kind of like crushing teams that don't really have that pitching depth. Their offense is actually kind of toward the top half of the SEC in conference play. Depending on the stat you're looking at, I think they're like second in on-base percentage. They're third or like fourth or fifth in home runs. It's not that bad actually, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that they just kind of crush bad pitching. And so I think that's kind of a good thing for LSU, the fact that they're facing an A&M staff that's not that great. But on the flip side, that's obviously where you're going to get a little bit nervous. And these are probably going to be fairly high-scoring games, so it's going to be a pretty different challenge than what they had to Ole Miss last week, where Ole Miss was boom or bust on offense and had a really good starting staff. So that was I guess that was kind of a unique matchup from what they've seen so far this year. And with this A&M team, this is probably the best offense they've faced yet. So it's going to be a pretty big challenge with this pitching staff, and should be interesting to see what happens here.
Last one. Do you believe LSU will make the NCAA tournament?
For now, yes. I don't feel good about that at all, though. I don't feel good about either answer, because I thought they were probably going to miss when they were 3-12 in 2024 in conference play. This team might actually have a worse RPI than that team. I'd have to go back and check. But yeah, I was literally putting together a story on that question, and just kind of kicking off the RPI watch, so to say, for this team. And I mean, right now they're 67th in RPI. Their KPI and DSR are in a much better spot, which are kind of more advanced versions of RPI, just put it plainly.
Right.
They're in a much better spot in those. Like they're 29th in DSR, they're 45th in KPI, which kind of means that like the margin in which they're losing games and some of the blowout wins have definitely helped their advanced numbers. But like that's probably not going to be the determining factor when it comes to this stuff. It's going to come down to conference record. Can they get those historical benchmarks, whether it's 13 conference wins or 38 wins overall, and can they get an RPI that's at least respectable into the 40s, maybe even the 30s? And they have plenty of opportunities to improve their RPI. That's the good news. Even though it's 67th round, it's even worse after the last weekend. It was 75th, I think, on Sunday. So, like, if they can improve on that RPI and get some wins here against these teams that are really, really good in RPI right now, like they're all top 25 RPI teams. They're all quad one games. If they can get 6, 7, 8 wins out of that stretch, then they're going to be in a much better spot. But the challenge is actually getting 6 or 7, 8 wins. I think that's kind of going to determine their season, right? That and not dropping another non-conference game.
We shall see. I'll see you at the box this weekend, Koki. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Koki Riley with The Advocate covering the LSU baseball team. We'll do some SEC baseball power rankings coming up in 15 minutes. Saints talk coming up. Mel Kiper's got a new mock first and second round. What's he got for the Hoodats? We'll talk about it.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Our show's on Wednesday brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. BuiltByRenaissance.com is the website, BuiltByRenaissance.com. You can see pictures of some fantastic work that Joey Blanchard and his team at Renaissance Homes and Pools has done. But he'd really rather you shoot him a text. That's kind of how Joey rolls. He wants to talk to you. He's the owner. He's going to be your point person. He's going to be the person that walks you through the consultation, the design. He'll be there when they dig the pool. He'll be there when they fill that pool. He'll be there when they finish that pool. He's your guy, and he's been doing it in Baton Rouge for a couple decades. He's done it for dozens and dozens of people around our area. So if you want a pool and you want to get into it this summer, start that process right now. Text Joey or give him a call. Either one works just fine. He'll get back to you. 225-252-7745. Whether you're looking for a pool and an outdoor kitchen, maybe you're looking to build your forever home, the one that you've always wanted. Joey can do that just like he's done for dozens and dozens of Baton Rouge area families. It's BuiltByRenaissance.com. Give Joey a call at 225-252-7745. Renaissance Homes and Pools.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. Now the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard, dig deeper, give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be...
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Got the next edition of the SEC Baseball Power Rankings right here in the old notebook. We're going to go through those coming up in 15 minutes. We are inching closer to draft day, 8 days away. You feeling it over there, Jordan?
I feel it because my birthday's around the draft, so it's like, it's around that time of year, yeah.
I like a spring birthday. My birthday is not at a great time. January 21st, I mean...
Well, look, my whole family, my mom's side of the family, all of them are born in January. Mom, my grandpa, my grandma, and her brother are all born in January.
As you well know, the only redeeming quality about my birthday, well, there's kind of two. One, it's just far away enough from Christmas where you get something in January that's because January is the worst month of the year by everybody. Weather's terrible. Everybody's trying to be healthy.
Super long month.
Dry January, long month, the whole deal. You're starting over from if you're in sales, everything you did the year before is gone. You got to start up. Whole deal. Budget's new. All that kind of stuff. The only redeeming quality really is that I got the big snow.
Yeah.
Got the mega snow last year.
And you know what?
8 inches of snow.
Probably will never see that ever again.
No, we'll not. And as I said that day when we came back, I went to the pool on my birthday, my junior year of college. It was 78.
Yeah.
So I've had pool and snow on my birthday.
Yeah, man.
Very few can say that around here.
Yeah.
But yeah, the draft is here. It's a week away, and so you start looking at the mock drafts. And I think I look at this from two perspectives. One, with the Saints' first-round pick, you are getting the same 4 or 5 names, but it feels like in years past you've gotten the same 2 names. It feels like we kind of know where things are headed, but there's more options. And I think that's usually the closer you are to 1, the narrower that focus gets. And the Saints being at 8, brings a little bit more focus in. But there's variability. There's no question about it. And Mel Kiper's got his mock draft. Keep in mind, this is not the big board. This is the mock draft. So who they actually are going to take. And he's got the Saints in the first and second round here at number 8 overall, taking Ruben Bain from Florida. I looked up because I thought to my head, I know Cam had a pretty good year. I know Chase Young's sack total wasn't huge, but it felt like he was making a presence. Carl Granderson's year was okay. I know that Brian Brzee can rush the pass a little bit. I felt like the Saints had a decent year as far as pass rush goes. And so I went back and looked it up. They were 7th in the NFL in sack percentage. They were 10th in the NFL in sacks per game. So either metric, the Saints were pretty good at rushing the passer. So this would not be significantly bolstering a weakness from last year. However, you're talking about bringing in a rookie. You know that Cam Jordan is either not going to be here in this coming season or will not be here long if he does come back. And Chase Young and Carl Granderson, both have a little bit left on their contract, but you're talking about if you're bringing a guy in the first round, you want him to be on your team for 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years. And so Bain is more of a long-term play to bring in the best possible player at a very much an impact need. As I've said many, many times, I'm not really here to scout these prospects. I think this plan would be just fine. And y'all know my spiel on Bain. He impacted a college football playoff unlike any defensive player I have ever seen. I know that he's not tall. I know that his arms aren't long. I know that he's incredibly powerful. I know he was massively productive, and I would not be at all disappointed with that pick. The best thing you could say about the Saints taking a pass rusher at 8 in Bain, don't think Arvell Reese will be there, but if you take one in Bain here, Bailey's not going to be there either, I don't think. The best thing you could say is that it's, generally speaking, harder to find an edge rusher late in the draft than it is early. Generally speaking, easier to find a wide receiver late in the draft than a edge rusher. So if you're going to use this asset on something you just don't think you can replicate anywhere else, free agency or later in the draft, I would be perfectly fine with the Saints taking Reuben Bain. But I will tell you, if they take Bain or Styles or Downs or whoever on the defensive side with that 8th pick, I will have all eyes on that second-round pick. It needs to be a receiver. Because as I've said, I'm not here to scout the prospects. I'm here to evaluate the plan. The plan needs a receiver. And if there's not one at 8, there needs to be one at 42. And Mel Kiper has the Saints, in this instance, at 42, going with KC Concepcion, wide receiver, Texas A&M. Now, here's what I would say about that fit with the Saints. KC Concepcion is a very different player than Chris Olave. He's a very different player than Devon Vele. He is a very different player than Jalen Polk. He is short and wildly explosive with the ball. Olave's not a big presence, but he glides. He makes catches, in the intermediate routes. He can be a big play threat. Concepcion is a nightmare to try to keep your hands on. Like, that's him. That's why he's such a great kickoff and punt returner in college. That's why he went for 919 yards and 9 touchdowns this past season with a quarterback that was just okay delivering the ball and a guy next to him who was having a monster season as well. Those two guys at Texas A&M were fantastic this past year. And if you're looking at your wide receiver group and want to build it in a way that looks like a basketball team that has varying skill sets, I think Concepcion is a good fit. I think it's very unlikely that KC Concepcion becomes your number 1 receiver. If you're looking to diversify your throws and your receptions, and you're looking to diversify your skill sets, this makes a lot of sense. If you're looking for Chris Olave to become a number 2, that probably doesn't do it for me. But again, that's not my expertise. I love the player that KC Concepcion is. I think he's impactful. I think he would be a diversification of skill sets if you took him at this spot, because I don't see him playing like them. But I will say this, in this mock draft from Mel Kiper, you have identified an edge rusher, you have identified a playmaker on offense. Your offense, from a 1 to call it 14, feels pretty set at that point. 1 to 14. Your defense still has issues at corner and potentially issue at linebacker. You've got 5 more rounds. You've got draft assets. You've got things you can do later in the draft. But that's where you would be if those were your 2 picks. If the Saints drafted Bain and Concepcion, 2 guys who battled in the college football playoff, in Kyle Field, in College Station, I would look at those 2 picks and say, I like the plan. I think this is good. I think the Saints are better. That's what I would say. Neither one of those picks is jaw-dropping. I kind of prefer wide receiver in the first round. You don't know how it falls. I actually didn't take the time to look at how this one fell. I just looked at the selection, so let's just look at that. We can do it together briefly.
I was just about to ask you, where's Downs?
Mendoza 1, Bailey 2, Arvell Reese 3. So there's your first 2 edge rushers. Okay. And then you got Jeremiah Love at 4 to the Titans. Downs is gone at 5 to the Giants.
All right.
He projects a trade where Dallas moves up to get Sonny Styles at 6.
That would be crazy.
And then right in front of the Saints, Carnell Tate goes. So in this, you don't have you the guys you would be passing on to take Bain that have been mocked to the Saints in other instances are Jordan Tyson to the Chiefs, Mansour Delane to the Bengals, not really Maui Noah, not really Proctor,
Yeah,
and
I'm
then
not losing sleep.
Makai Lemon at 13.
Yeah, I'm not losing sleep over that. No, I mean, if the draft falls that way and Ruben Bain falls to you, that's kind of like a gift from God.
Yeah.
So you don't even question that. You just take him and move forward with that. Especially, and then you can just love Cam Jordan, put a seal on it. It's over.
Yeah.
Like, see you later. And then you rebound with Casey Concepcion. I like him. I wanted him to go to LSU because he wasn't in the transfer portal before the season, so I did want him to go to LSU.
I saw him whistling down that sideline of that punt return in Tiger Stadium right in front of my eyes.
Exactly, and anybody that can make Marcel Reed look good, you it's a little bit of extra on top. It's a little bit of cherry on top. So this guy can play. I do have a little bit of questions about him, like being a receiver, though.
Yeah, he's just a playmaker.
He's a playmaker. Thank you. He's a playmaker. Special teams, kick return, punt return. That's him. But we need a receiver. So if he can, transition that, maybe Olave work with him or whatnot to become an actual receiver, then yes. But if your first two picks are Ruben Bain and Casey Concepcion, that's an A+ out of me. Like, you can't complain about that.
All right, we shall see. That's a look at your New Orleans Saints. We'll come back. SEC Baseball Power Rankings next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. I know that those summer road trips are coming up quickly. Kids will be out of school before you know it. You'll be hitting the road to the beach or maybe to take kids to camp, maybe wherever you may go for your annual road trip. Maybe you head up north towards the mountains. No matter what, you may need a new ride for that. And if you're looking for an SUV, how about a Chevy Tahoe? How about a Chevy Suburban? They got them at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Looking for a Yukon or Denali? They got them. And I can promise you, you make that quick drive up Highway 61 to St. Francisville, you will have phenomenal customer service, a wonderful buying experience, and great service after the sale because the Fabry family has been doing that for 35 years. They've had 3 locations, 5 different brands. Now, with that Chevrolet GMC point in St. Francisville, go by and see them before you get on the road for your big family road trip this summer. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're online at FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com.
At Parrish, we bring the same commitment to your home that champions bring to the game.
Do business with someone you know.
Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
Only two teams stand pat in this week's SEC Baseball Power Rankings. We'll get to those in one moment. But let me tell you about First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. Bank local with First American Bank and Trust. They are the very definition of local. They've been in Southeast Louisiana since 1910. That's 116 years ago. And now they've grown to 25 locations throughout the great state of Louisiana, right here in our pocket in the Southeast. Whether you're down the bayou in St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne, maybe you're on the I-12 corridor with St. Tammany or Tangipahoa, maybe down in Metairie, they got a location for you. First American Bank and Trust. The people that make the decisions at First American Bank and Trust for your commercial loan, for your personal loan to buy that home you've always been looking for. The people that make that decision, they're local. They go to church with you. Their kids are in school with yours. It's not somebody in Atlanta, nobody in Sacramento or Chicago, nobody on Manhattan. It's right here in Southeast Louisiana. So bank local, and that doesn't mean compromise the ability of your bank. No, First American Bank and Trust has 25 locations. They can handle your commercial loan. Find them online at FABT.com, FABT.com. It's First American Bank and Trust. All right, we've waited long enough. Power Rankings.
Hunt's SEC Power Rankings. The Texas Longhorns.
Hold your horses. I did not move Texas. It's fine. I know they did not win a game last weekend in College Station. They also didn't play the third game. That's when Dylan Volantis pitches. They haven't lost one of those starts all year. Texas got it. Got to give it to him a little bit by the little brother. They got beat 2 days in a row. That Aggie offense came to play against good Texas pitching. I'm not going to go nuts here. They lost a weekend. I got Texas at number 1.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia is good. I've got them at number 2. It's a heck of a ball club. I've got them up a spot to number 2. They are pitching better. The velocity out of the bullpen is excellent. And we know that they can hit balls out of any ballpark in the country. So I like Georgia a lot. They're number 2.
The Florida Gators.
I've moved Florida up all the way to the number 3 spot here. The bullpen is their strength behind Aiden King and Liam Peterson. They've shuffled that rotation around a little bit, and they're starting to swing the bats. You take 2 out of 3 from Georgia, you're doing something right. Florida, I think, did something right over the weekend. So I like this Florida team. Kevin O'Sullivan's done a good job. Yep, they got clocked by Bethune-Cookman last night. Happens to the best programs in the country, right? Maybe, but Florida's number 3.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn didn't move. They take 2 out of 3. They've won a couple weekends in a row. My concern here with Auburn a little bit is that 2 of Jake Marciano's last 3 outings have not been that good. This past weekend against Kentucky, 4 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 runs. He's been like kind of one of my favorite things about Auburn, and like maybe some SEC teams are starting to see it a little bit better. It's never been like dominant stuff, but I like him as a pitcher. He's not doing anything terrible, but he was one of the main reasons I loved Auburn. Got him at number 4.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
I'd moved the Hogs back to number 6 from that number 2 spot. Now I moved them back to number 5. Taking care of business, going to Alabama, sweeping. I told you I was not ready to believe in Alabama. I was not ready to quit on Arkansas. That bore itself out over the weekend. Arkansas took care of business. You can't count out Dave Van Horn's club. I think they're struggling a little bit offensively. They've got an issue in one of the rotation slots, but I think they're going to be okay. I moved them up to number 5.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Look, I think State's really good. We're going to talk a lot about Mississippi State next week. I'm headed to Starkville for that series. I'll be doing my show next Friday from Starkville. But if you lose 6 straight SEC games on your home field, I got to ding you for that, right? I can't just sit here and just completely dismiss the whole thing. So I got to move them back. I moved them from 2 to number 6.
Texas A&M!
Aggies move up from 11 to 7. This offense is legitimate, y'all. It's very, very good. They scored 9 runs on Texas in the first game with Ruger Riojas on the mound. They scored 11 with Harrison on the mound. In those 2 games against Texas, the Aggies 16 hits and a pair of homers. It's a legitimate offense. They're very good. I don't think the pitching staff's very good. We'll start to get into them tomorrow a little bit. They've got some holes there on the staff. They got a talent deficiency on the staff, but they can hit, and that's why they've got themselves there at number 7.
The Ole Miss Rebels.
I moved Ole Miss up to number 5. This is kind of eye test, right? Because I just really thought the arms they put out there was good. We'll get to LSU shortly. I've got my shortcomings on them, but I saw Hunter Elliott. It looked great. I saw Cade Townsend. It looked great. I saw Rabe. It was incredible for 6 no-hit innings on Sunday. Hooks came in and was great in 2 different games out of the bullpen. Like, they can pitch, and they've got some guys that can run it out of the yard. They haven't done it a ton. Ole Miss has got some flaws. There's no doubt. They strike out too much, and I don't think what they did against LSU's pitching is indicative of what they'll do all year, but Ole Miss is decent. I got them at 8.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
I just didn't ever really buy into Bama, and that's not to say their season's over or anything, but they did get swept by Arkansas, and I think that's closer to what they are. They've been swept twice out of the first 2 weekends. Kentucky swept them, Arkansas swept them, so there are flaws. Yeah, they went to Gainesville and took a series. That's fantastic. Yes, they swept Auburn. That's great. Those are 2 of my top 4 teams. There's some good things there, but I'm just not buying right now with Bama, so I've got them down at number 9.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee's up 4 spots from 14 to 10. I do that because, 1, they went to Starkville and swept. 2, the arms are good. Mack is good. Coons is good. Appenzeller is phenomenal. They've got some guys that can throw it. They've got offensive problems. There's no doubt. And if you give up 1 billion home runs to LSU over a weekend, that's not great either. That's all their bullpen after those guys I mentioned. But some talent, so I moved them up to number 10.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
Kentucky got beat in a series by Missouri a couple weeks ago. They got beat by Auburn in the series this past weekend. They moved down to number 11. I don't think Kentucky is great. I think Jackson Jelkin is very good. That's about all I have to say about that, so I'll leave Kentucky at number 11.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
I also don't think Oklahoma is very good. I moved them back 2 spots to number 12. They've gotten really nothing from L.J. Mercurius of late. Cam Johnson did not make it out of the first inning last week. He walked 4 guys. I don't know how they can keep trotting him out there on the weekends at that rate. I think Willits is a nice player. I think Walk can run. They can steal some bases, but that's not a formula for great baseball. If your ace is faltering, your number 2 shouldn't be in an SEC rotation, and you don't hit a ton. I just don't love Oklahoma.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
I moved Vandy back to number 13. They lost 2 out of 3 at home to Oklahoma, which doesn't help. So this is a team that's got the worst ERA in the Southeastern Conference. Connor Fennell is an ace that's limited a little bit. Their bullpen is really struggling without Austin Nye, who was their best pitcher and was in the rotation at one point. They can't pitch it, and that's why they're down at number 13.
The LSU Tigers.
Y'all, what do you want me to do? They got swept against Ole Miss. Their offensive numbers are middle of the pack. Their pitching numbers are bottom of the pack. Their wild pitch number leads the conference by 15 over second to worst. They're the worst fielding team I've seen at LSU. I've got them at 14. This team is not very good right now. Their ace is okay. Their number 2 is okay. Their bullpen beyond Sheeran is not any good. It's just not good. I don't have a great positive spin to put on this at the moment. A weekend can change that tune, but right now you lose all 3 games on the weekend. You got a loss to Bethune-Cookman. You're 14.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
They're out of the cellar. They're 5-7 since they fired Maneri. Swept Missouri over the weekend. You know what that means? That's coming. McCoy's been pretty good in the rotation. It's not a talented team at all, but they swept Missouri, so they're 15th, which means
the Missouri Tigers.
Sorry, Missouri. You had that was a good 5-week run out of the cellar. 5 weeks. I think they were in the cellar every week last year. So 5 weeks out of it, that's good, but you're back. We kept the bed nice and made for you. You should feel real comfortable there. It's a general spot that you've enjoyed over the years. That's where you're back. If you can't win a game in Columbia, Missouri against South Carolina, you're last. Those are the power rankings. Texas at the top, Georgia at number 2, Florida at number 3. You got Auburn at 4, Arkansas at 5. I think those teams are damn good. I think Mississippi State is too, but bad 2 weekends for them. A&M moves way up to number 7, Ole Miss at 8. Bama falls to 9. Tennessee vaults its way up to number 10, Kentucky at 11. It pains me to put Oklahoma and Vanderbilt ahead of LSU, but those 2 teams did beat LSU in a series. They have better conference records than LSU. What are you going to do? LSU is at 14, South Carolina 15, Missouri at 16. Let's take a time out. We will come back. We'll close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Let me tell you about my friends over at Auctioner. And there are different reasons why you may need care over at Auctioner. They want to make sure that they're directing you to the right place. And the way they do that is you visit their symptom checker online at auctioner.org/findcare. Primary care is your comprehensive and continuous care. Immunizations, asthma, maybe some stomach aches. They'll check your chronic diseases like high blood pressure, cholesterol, maybe blood sugars. And it's good to mention that, look, they got virtual visits that are available there. Urgent care needs immediate care, but their common illnesses may be minor injuries. You're talking about abscesses or lacerations, mild to moderate stomach aches, maybe heat-related illness, non-life-threatening allergic reactions. Walk-ins are very welcome. They have extended hours there in their urgent care facilities. You can find a location near you at www.ochsner.org/UC. Emergency care, you need to be in the emergency room or you need to call 911 now. And that means severe chest pain, severe bleeding, head trauma, sudden vision loss, severe dehydration. That means that you need to be seen immediately. That's what that emergency care is for. I want to remind you that My Auctioneer virtual visits are available online through the My Auctioneer app. You can download that app at www.auctioneer.org/myo. And of course, another additional resource, Auctioneer on Call. That's 1-800-231-5257. That's our friends at Auctioneer.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit louisianapropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools.
My guy Jonathan Carbo at the Howard Insurance Group earlier today, and we were talking about benefits. And y'all know I talk to you about property and casualty insurance all the time, and the Howard Insurance Group is happy to help you out with property and casualty insurance for your business. But obviously, group and employee benefits are very, very important as well. Talking about health insurance, obviously, but dental, vision, all those benefits that help you hire employees, that help you bring in talent to your organization. It also helps you retain talent. You want to take care of your employees. It's a business expense, and it helps you keep the people involved in your organization that you need involved in your organization. If you feel like your renewal did not go well last time around, or you feel like you're not getting the customer service that you need from your benefits agent, your benefits broker, contact the Howland Insurance Group. Let them take a look. They're happy to help you out with that. I know that's a pain point for a lot of business owners in our market. It's just expensive. Healthcare can be very, very expensive. Let the Howland Insurance Group take a look and make sure that you're in the right hands with your group and employee benefits. You can find them online at highlandig.com. Contact my guy Jonathan Carbo and his team right here in Baton Rouge. The Howland Insurance Group online at highlandig.com. All right, we're wrapping up the show here, brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Busy show today. We'll have a busy show tomorrow as well. We'll have practice report tomorrow. We will be on the Ponderosa for LSU spring football practice in the morning. Have a report at louisianasports.net, and then we'll, of course, talk about it on the show. Joe Healy will be here to talk about the weekend in SEC baseball. I have not looked at the matchups for this weekend, so I'm curious to see what they are. That's always one of the highlights of my week because they're all so good. Like, you had Missouri, South Carolina this past weekend, which is terrible. But other than that, like, almost every matchup that you get is pretty damn good. So I'm curious to dive into that and see who's playing this weekend because I don't even know, but we'll talk about it with Joe coming up tomorrow. We'll talk to Chris Blair, voice of the Tigers, tomorrow, so he gets ready to call LSU and A&M over the weekend. I'll be sitting right next to him for all 3 games for that, so very much looking forward to it. Should be a fun show tomorrow, but before we get to that, let's finish today with Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, Hunt, we already spoke about it a little bit earlier, but the heavyweight bout between the PGA Tour and LIV Golf might be coming to an end, as there was I guess an emergency meeting today in New York. You know, fueled by speculations that this last little tournament they have in Mexico City might be the last one, and LIV is going to shut down their operations. So the floor is yours. LIV, it's over. Take it or leave it.
Take it.
Take it.
Take it.
I'll
Take it. Sounds like it. Nobody is completely banging the gavel here, and it sounds like they're likely to play in Mexico City over the weekend. I didn't even know they were in Mexico City. Wow, going from Augusta to Mexico City for that famous event. But it appears that time is ending. You've got Bryson Brooks who left, Patrick Reed who left, Rahm who wants to leave. He's making weird comments at Augusta saying he knows why he wasn't ready, but he's not at liberty to say. And you just don't have any contract extension for Bryson. They've got nobody that moves the needle. Nobody watches it. And you've got significant upheaval in the Middle East, obviously, where all of this is being funded from. So sounds like Yasser's going to pull the plug on this disaster of an idea, this massive detriment to the game of golf, and that's great. You got to find a way to let these guys come back. They got to either pay financial penalties, wait a year, or both to come back into the fold. Brooks has done his penance. He's going to be back in action and has been. Patrick Reed will come back later on, and hopefully you get Bryson back into the fold. And if Rahm wants to come back as well, and you make him pay for it, make him pay for what they did to leave and split the game in half. But my point all along is not really have anything to do with LIV Golf. It has everything to do with I want everybody playing in the same place. And when you take half the players and go play on a hit and giggle on YouTube that nobody pays attention to, that nobody cares about, on courses no one's ever heard of, that aren't well maintained, you get the massive collapse in a lot of these guys' games, and it weakens the PGA Tour. I don't want that. So there you go. Get rid of it.
All right, so former LSU head coach Brian Kelly, while speaking to John Bryce of the U.S. Today, Kelly was asked what went wrong during his time at LSU. And this is what he said. So, quote, I would say there is a simple answer, Kelly said. I didn't win enough games. There's a longer answer to why that didn't happen. I'll probably have to write a book about it one day. There's cause and effect, and the effect was I didn't win enough games, period. So would you read a Brian Kelly book about his time at LSU? Take it or leave it?
I'll take it.
I'll take it.
It happens to fall into my one real genre of books: sports nonfiction. I don't do fiction. I don't want spacecrafts. I don't want wizards. I don't want dragons. I don't want any of that garbage. My wife and I are basically watching a sci-fi show right now called Paradise. It's making my head spin, and I don't really want to watch much of it. But sports nonfiction, I can do, and I would probably read that. I would understand what I was reading, that it was coming from the man who was writing it. But I think the biggest reason, and I said this the day after he was fired, I think the biggest reason is his assistant hires weren't good enough. And you let the defense fall apart, and then the offense fell apart, and that's on the head coach. So it wasn't as if it was a disaster. LSU did not fall into an abyss under Brian Kelly.
Nope.
But it wasn't good enough.
It was not good enough.
So there you are.
It's just not different. So Lehigh set the Division I baseball record in the first inning, 38-6 over Copen State on Tuesday. The Mount Hawks scored 20 runs in the opening frame, breaking the previous NCAA D1 record of 18 runs in the first inning by Princeton and Air Force in 1974. So will this record ever be broken again? Take it or leave it.
I mean, leave it? I mean, that seems like a lot of
a long
runs.
time,
I'll tell
man.
you this. I got a text message from a buddy today. Would I have 1 minute?
Yeah.
Along these lines.
Okay.
There was a softball game that was played in Shreveport over the weekend.
Okay.
Or maybe last night. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. It got a little bit weird between the Southwood Cowboys, Cowgirls, Lady Cowboys. I think they're the Cowgirls.
Lady Pokes.
and the Huntington Lady Raiders.
Okay.
We're talking about a 54-45 softball game. And the team that scored 45 runs, which was Huntington.
Okay.
They scored 45 runs and lost. I want you to guess how many hits they got to score 45 runs.
Like 60 or something?
Less.
I don't know. 30?
Less.
10?
Less.
5?
5 hits.
5?
45 runs on 5 hits.
How is that possible?
There were about 50 walks and I think 17 hit batsmen.
50 walks? 50 walks? Bro, you talking about LSU? Nah, man, they got to go. They got to go. They got to go.
We'll leave you with some Shreveport softball scoring updates. Missed any of the show today? Catch it online. Brought to you by Renaissance Homes and Pools. Matt's going to drive you home on AFR. We'll see you tomorrow for the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. You know, it doesn't have to be a huge renovation or remodel. David and his team can do that. They did it for Brian Haldane from our news talk station, 107.3. They came in. Brian and his wife wanted a new bathroom area and certainly in their vanity. And David Duvall and his team at One Bath and Closets did that. But maybe it's not a full-scale renovation. Maybe it's just a tub-to-shower conversion. Do you use your tub? If not, take it out. Does your tub work? If not, take it out. Does your tub look presentable, or is it old and dingy and gross? If it's not, take it out. Put in a gorgeous glass walk-in shower. David and his team can do that, and oftentimes that's a 3 to 5 day project. It can totally transform your bathroom. Check out pictures of their great work and go ahead and get that free consultation. One Bath and Closets online at onebathandclosets.com.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce.